Like, that makes sense, right? Will it be possible to push these on till 33, 34? Yes. I could do that. I will probably not do this right now. I will go through the Amazon and then maybe when I'm through everything, I will do the rest. This is 1.14 patch. Right, so as mentioned, I will do the Amazon next. Find the skill trend for dramatic effect. Alright. Chat wants me to do that first. Let's do that first. Perfect! Easy dramatic effect. Are you happy? If it says 1.15, does it? No. It's rigged. Right. I guess we're going left to right once again. First of all, with all the physical hitting stuff, give me 1 second. I want to get some TPs and a spear weapon for this first. You stick to medium. I'll have fun with that. And resets 4 minutes. It's 4 minutes, not 5.
What you need?
Alright. That should be good. No. In terms of balance, yes, they are not completely unchanged. Alright. Let's go into the physical stuff first. Let's go with jab first. Obviously, oops. Need a target for this. Stop knocking back, that's just dumb. Actually, we don't need a target for that. Let's go to the plus button. Alright, so jab. Like in general, the javelins get held in a little bit different angle. It's like pointing downwards a little bit more. And you're attacking, like, when you look at the legacy version, this like steps towards the bottom a lot more. It feels like the angle is a lot steeper downwards. Oh, come on. Oh, come on, little quill red. Don't interrupt me. So I like the legacy version a little bit more. Obviously, still a skill that is not really that much used, so it's not a big deal. But I like this version better. Right, next up, we are going to have, let's do Impale, which is kind of supposed to be that single target thing, I believe. I don't think ever anybody has used this. And it's just like a really slow attack that is dealing decent amount of damage. I'm not a huge fan of her screaming. But I mean, same thing as with the jab. It's just like, this looks like she's hitting towards the bottom a little bit more than this. I'm not sure how she, like, if she goes full thrust, I don't even know how she keeps that in her head. Let me put it this way. Right, and last but not least on the physical part, we are going to find some monsters. Because we are going to need some monsters. Quite obviously. Best served, some monsters that also survive a little bit. The old animation looks laggy. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. So, Fend, you obviously are supposed to, like, as soon as you hit monsters, like spinning around to hit all the monsters that are in range. And I want to say, like, it's nothing particularly bad or good. Like, I don't mind it either way. I think the even legacy version is a tiny bit better. Just because it, like, looks like she's actually stabbing a little bit more into the enemies. That makes sense. Like, this is just, you see the monsters just instantly. Wait, what the hell? Where's the thorns damage come from? That's what it is. Right. Get rid of that thorns damage. But yeah, as it is not really much used skill, I never have a problem with how it looks, but it could be a tiny bit better. Let's switch over to the spear right quick, because I like it a bit more when you're looking at spear. For that goes for all the physical skills here. This is more in line with this. However, she, like, goes a lot deeper once again. Like, she hits, like, she basically goes to the ground and then, like, spears upwards. If that makes sense. And on this one, she's just, like, poking in the front. Like, poke, 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 poke. I don't know. The intensity in vanilla on these physical skills, I feel like, are a lot better. Because, like, what is this? This, like, how's this more damage than this pokey stuff? Like, and then you look at this Impale. She's, like, really, really getting her body into it. However, the sound of the skill as well, like, oof. It's like, I'm trying to be a cat. Right. So, physical skills, like, I'm not convinced too much. I'm not terribly sad about it. Like, I don't see a reason to change it, but it could be a little bit more in the I lean my body into the attack's direction. Right, next up we're going to go through this line. A lot of these things will look a little bit the same, and I will only use that skill shrine for Lightning Fury. So let me get to an area where the monsters are a little bit more tanky, and we are going to start with Power Strike. See if I'm getting overrun by these guys now. Yup. So this is basically as if you're just putting a topaz in a weapon. You just get this little bit of a lightning animation around them. On these really big guys, that is just in the front. When you're looking at other monsters, like these guys, it like engulfs them completely. Alright. So I'm looking at this right now. I mean, it's fairly similar. It's just like a little bit more polished. And I don't have any objections. On these guys, however, you can see it in the back as well. Which you can't hear when you're looking closely. They don't have the animation in the back, which is okay, I guess. But maybe something you want to look into. Right, so since we're getting overrun there, let's go somewhere else real quick. And we'll look at, what is the next one? Charge Strike. Alright, beloved Charge Strike. Obviously, like the normal attack animation, which is not really that impressive. And then you have the charge bolts from these sorcerers going around. Right now I'm just lagging a little bit. Let's go somewhere else. Act 2 seems to be a little bit less well-rounded with the performance for my computer. But you can see like the lightning bolts going around. You still have that effect of the lightning damage on top of the monsters. And nothing spectacular, in my opinion. Nothing to really complain about either, but it is alright. Next up, we're gonna have Lightning Strike, which is pretty much the Sauce's Chain Lightning in melee form. Once again, like I like the Chain Lightning animation, so I'm fine with this. I really love like this. When it gets to a certain range, it just snaps and like dissolves basically from the back. I find is cool. I like it. But then again, it's not quite as iconic as the white lightning stuff. Right. Next up, we're gonna cover some poison skills. We have Poison Javelin, which I believe looks really good. Like, I love the Poison Cloud animations. Obviously just a little bit more polished than in the vanilla version. And like a lot more details. And then when you are looking at... Skip real quick to the Plague Javelin before we do the Lightning Bolt. You obviously have at the end that cloud that is just like dispersing from the impact zone. Which obviously is the same as the other Poison Cloud animation stuff. And I think it's good. I think it works. It's good. Right, next up we have Lightning Bolt, which I now have a level 2 Lightning Bolt. That's cool. We will see this animation once again on the Lightning Fury. Love this lightning animation. This is like one of the few lightning animations where I would say like this is really cool. It's obviously not as beefy as this. But the initial animation I like. Now, let's get to the part that most people, or a lot of people criticize, which is Lightning Fury. So you have the initial animation that is exactly the same as the lightning bolt. However, when you get that let's not die here. When you get to the pierces, you get this like lightning lines that really don't match up with what you have in vanilla. In vanilla, you throw in these, you know, and get these like small lightning projectiles that fly out. Right? And in here, these lines, they travel forever. I mean, not really forever, but they go a long way. Like all the way over here. That's where that walked out of. The distance is fine. I'm just not a huge fan of this thin lightning beam that is like a lot longer than the original one. And as my beautiful Twitch chat is pointing out as well, it sounds a lot weaker. I love the sound of the old one. I'm not hating on the new lightning sound here, but I think the old one sounds cooler. Yeah, so that is that for the Javelin skills. Now let's take a look at the passive and magic tree real quick. That's going to be a really short one, as there are only pretty much 5 animations we need to cover there. Let's begin with the inner side, just as a comparison. Once again, one more of these animations where, due to the lack of detail that you can manage in a low resolution game, this looks a lot more detailed, and I like it. See how the sparkling animation is on top of the monsters. So when they are hit, that sparkling animation is like more at the middle of the body, and this on Resurrected, it like sparkles a little bit more all over the place. I'm fine with both ways. Actually, it's like pretty similar, just like a little bit more finessed. Right. Next up, we have a slow missile, and for that, I will once again go into the Black Marsh, is where I wanted to go, into the tower, and we are going to find some ranged monsters. Let's first check out the animation itself. Which is basically, once again, the same polished version of it. Other monster, you can see here, it is the same sparkly animation. And then you obviously have the slow projectiles moving. So we don't even have to go to the tower for this. One more time. As you can see, the slow animation, it looks a lot like exactly as the inner side, so nothing really crazy. And you have the same thing here, obviously. Wait. That's for the... let's call them curses, basically. Next up, the Decoy. Very unspectacular, obviously. It just like makes a copy of you, which instantly weapon swaps. Same as in vanilla. And then you have this little bit of a fireworks explosion when it runs out. Or when you cast a new one. Which you have in vanilla too. It looks just a little bit, once again, more finessed and a little bit more sparkly. So, yeah. I'm fine with this, like, nothing to complain, to be honest. And now, guys, are you ready for another flashbang? Are you ready? Are you ready for another flashbang? So this is how it used to look. You only have this light coming out from the spot where you cast the Valkyrie. Right? Like, unsummon her real quick. When you do this on Resurrected, you basically spawn her from the heavens. Just lightning coming, like this beam of light coming down. Just summoning an angel. Let's go! I really love this. At first, like, when I saw this the first time, I was like, Flashbang, the hell? But it looks glorious. Let's zoom in for that animation real quick. She comes a little bit out of nowhere, which is obviously normal, but the beam of light really like gives it an extra touch. And I also like the aura around her. It's just like a lot more detailed once again compared to the vanilla version of it. Right. That was pretty much it for these skills. We can have the despawn animation here also real quick, which is the exact same as it is in vanilla. Right. That was it for all these passive and magic skills. I will go to try and get hit a little bit so we can see the dodge animations, which basically all look the same. So I'm just gonna like find a pack of monsters, stand in them, and hope that we get it triggered a little bit, and hopefully not die to them as well. Now the breastplate, it does not slow down. Breastplate never slowed down. No, oh my god. I need to find like just beetles so I don't get freaking covered by everything. Yeah. Basically very, very similar to the normal or the vanilla legacy version of it, so I'm totally fine with it. Nothing really changed. Right, let's heal up, and then we are showing the bow skills. This is 1.14, so yes, all the synergies exist exactly as they are in vanilla. With both skills, I fortunately don't really have to travel too much and hit monsters too much. Just go through them relatively quickly because there's nothing really extremely spectacular about them, in my opinion. Let's start from left to right once again, starting with the cold arrow, going over to the ice arrow, which has the exact same animation with a little bit more of a beefy explosion at the end. Actually, no, it's like exactly the same. Which is also the case for vanilla, obviously. And then you switch over to ice arrow, or freezing arrow rather, which has the same projectile animation. Once again, same thing as in vanilla. Once again, like that cold animation, similar to Ice Blast and the Sorceress, I find it a little bit better in the vanilla version. This just seems like there's like this just the dry iced smoke effect here. I think it could be a little bit more pronounced, or I don't know, looking more impactful. I don't know what. I feel like this looks more impactful. Right. Not much to cover here, apart from that. No. Ice is also still blue. Maybe it's a touch more. No, I think it's on the spot. It's just lightning that is a lot bluish, or more blue than white. I think it's more white. Oof. All right. Next up, we're going through the middle row, which we are going to start with Magic Arrow. And we're gonna very quickly go over this. Nothing spectacular, a little bit more detailed due to the lower resolution, a little bit less bulky. But I'm fine with it. It's nothing spectacular, as I said. Right, multi-shot. This is unfortunately only a level 1 multi-shot. Let's really quickly get +2 skills, if that refreshed already. Did. So multi-shot, pretty similar to Diablo 2. When you get really close to your to a character, you spread it out a little bit more. And like the closer you get it, obviously there's fans out a lot more. When you go far away, just like more compromised. Not more compromised. Don't. Is compromised the right word? Compacted. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. So obviously the same thing happens here. One quick note on this skill in particular. I'm gonna travel to Act 2 real quick, because I believe on any sand areas, these arrows are just not visible, or like barely visible. Like looking at this, and in comparison, these guys are a lot more visible than on this version. So I think maybe they need to outline these arrows a little bit better for the sand areas. Because now that I got used to it, I can see that a little bit better, but still, it's not that easy to see. Also, something that I just noticed, at the arrows in vanilla have this like red feathers, and these ones just have white feathers at the back. Did I try bolts? I have not tried bolts. I will do so right now. put that shield into my stash. I don't need that right now.
Good morning.
Guess I need to find somebody else that can sell me a crossbow real quick. Yeah, red arrows would help a lot in this, like red feathers. Let's take this one. Obviously, it's gonna be a lot slower with the attack speed, but the projectiles are the exact same, which is like really hard to see here. Guess the projectiles on bolts in vanilla are actually different. These are just smaller, right? Okay. So they're just like shorter than the arrows, but a very, very thin animation that is hard to see. It's better to see on like darker grounds because it's a really light animation. Bob will be shown last, yes. Right, next up we have Guided Arrow. I'm gonna switch to the bow and arrow for this again. Similar to Magic Arrow, nothing really spectacular. It's the same animations, similar to Vanilla. I was kind of hoping that they would like take a little bit of a different take on like skills that look exactly the same in Vanilla. Like one of my critique points. They could make this a little bit more unique per skill. Let's go find monsters so we can see the guided animation as well. Looks like it just switches direction as it should. Right. Next up, gonna have Strafe. For this, I once again have to find some monsters to visualize this. I think I might have killed most of everything. Let's find a like bigger group of monsters. I think I left some monsters down back here. So just spamming the lightning, the arrows, pretty much it's very, very similar. Spin moves similar. Nothing that I can really complain about. She's turning a little bit slower, I feel like, than Vanilla. Yeah, this looks a little bit more snappy when she's like turning around, but that's the only thing I can think of. And yeah, invisible arrows, basically. Right, that is it for that part. And let's show the fireball skills last. Oh, we will have to refresh on a little bit of mana here.
Good day.
No, they have the same legs. They have, however, the back of them. In vanilla, it's completely closed, and only when they get hit, they open their wings. In this version, they always have the wings open. That's what makes them look weird or different, a lot different. Also, it's like a pointy wings instead of like a really round-shaped thing. Right, let's go through the last 3 skills here real quick, which is the fire skills. Once again, you will not find any like really spectacular projectile animation, similar to vanilla. The fire arrow is just like a more polished version, similar to the ice arrows and stuff. Going over to the exploding arrow. Let's make this one a quick one. Same projectile animation. It's more of a poofy kind of animation here. I'm not like I like and dislike it. Like this looks just different. This is just like an explosion, everything like spreads apart, and this is like more of a little explosion where you have the like this nuke animation where it's like, what's it called, the fungus kind of cloud, puffy. That's called a puffy animation. It doesn't look bad. I like it either way. It just looks a little bit different. Right. Last but not least, immolation arrow. Which is actually the least. This basically gives us a little bit of fire on the ground. Initially, I really liked this animation. Like, the more I see it, the less I like it. But that's also because the skill's just straight up useless. In comparison, this fire just like moves a lot faster. And it's just like a little bit more beefy. Fire in general looks awesome. It just, I don't know what it is about this particular arrangement. But yeah, that's it for the Amazon. Let's go and do the Barbarian next. Yeah, Violent is really good of putting in. The vanilla version is a lot more violent than the Resurrected version.